Local legends.
We're pleased to welcome Alison Ferrall, stalwart of women's football overall, first off at Morpheville Park, then been a fantastic contributor at Norwood, retired at the end of last season playing-wise, but he's coaching the development reserve side, and it's a unique situation in football because her husband Brad is the coach of the Norwood League side. So we'll go through how that works a little bit. Look, Ali, welcome aboard.
Let's just start with how you started.
Park and all that side of
where
things,
you
Ali.
started your footy and how you got into footy, and let's go from there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Love always chatting footy. So, yeah, I started off at Morpheville Park. Was really lucky to play in a incredibly strong team. So that was in 2016. So it was the year before the AFL W kicked off, and Morpheville Park has been a breeding ground for AFLW players.
Yes,
So
very
I
much
played
so.
with players like the likes of Courtney Cramey and Ebony Marinoff and Danny Van Hagen, basically the Crows premiership team.
Yep.
That first few years I played with a lot of girls in that side. So really successful year. We won the premiership that year, and I unfortunately did my knee in the prelim final. So I missed that premiership, unfortunately, and it meant that I also missed the first year of the AFLW and SANFL W. So
Yeah.
that's why I wasn't in that inaugural Norwood side either. So
You're not good timing, Ali.
yeah, I know it was terrible timing. But I had the year off and actually was able to develop my coaching. That's kind of where my coaching career started in footy. Because I couldn't play, I took on the coaching job at Morpheville Park in the B grade team for seniors.
Yep.
So that's kind of my history with Morphies. And then the following year, coming back from my knee, Steve Simons, first Norwood coach, he gave me a call and said, "Would you be interested in coming over?" And luckily enough, I've got family ties through Brad, who has always been a passionate Norwood fan his whole life, and that's
Yes, he's a quality person. That's right. Correct. Yeah, we knew that, Ali. Yep.
Yeah, so it was a no-brainer for me to go to Norwood. So that's kind of how my career started at Norwood.
And was coaching sort of always on your radar, or was it more the injuries that sort of steered you in that direction?
Yeah, well, being a female, like growing up, I always loved footy and wanted to play footy. However, wasn't able to. So I was a netballer, and I played netball at a really high level, state level. And through that, I coached as well. So I've been coaching ever since I was about 18 years old, coaching juniors and then in netball. And then, as soon as I went over to footy, it was still something I was really passionate about. So that's why when I did my knee, I was pretty keen to jump into some coaching. And then ever since then, I've been doing, junior coaching through footy, doing state programs and being an assistant coach for the state under-16s and then the Norwood development, under-16s, junior development leagues and that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's something I've always been really passionate about.
I think it showed last Friday night, Ali, where, Pete, I will be honest, Norwood, we'd started slowly in the development game, but it got right back in it. It was under a goal. Let's just say a Norwood player was ill-disciplined.
Yep.
Now, I think a lot of coaches still would have left the person on the ground and all that, but no, Ali correctly took the player off. Hopefully that player learns from that because it wasn't good. So I just thought you showed a fair bit of maturity and saw the overall picture a bit more than some other people would have at that stage, Ali. So I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it certainly it was out of character for her, and definitely the emotions got the better of her, and she was highly remorseful. And for me, the reason I brought her off is that it isn't the Norwood way. That's not how we we want to play with great
Yeah.
sportsmanship. So, so that's why I chose to bring her off, but also just to cool her head as well. So, yeah.
Now, there was a couple of amusing moments in the league game where Brad, as coach, ran from the coach's box and wanted to go back down on the boundary, and he wasn't actually going to the closest gate. I did laugh once, and I thought we almost need a ladder, how they used to have for Barmy to climb down that. So it was amusing. Now, I want to go into the Nord game, and look, I want to remove the Nord side of it here. My feelings would have been exactly the same if Nord were in front. It's actually irrelevant. Now, the time-on rule has been brought in to SANFLW. Now, I think we all assumed that it was on the way of how time-on's normally done if there's an injury. And there was a Centrals girl injured in the last quarter, and the game stopped for over 2.5 minutes. Now, I think we all thought that was time on going to be added on. And then when the siren blew, everyone was sort of a bit bemused. Now, it turns out, because I was commentating the next night, so I did want to know the exact rule. Now, it's look, I'll say we're all at fault. It's a rule we all should have probably checked and that. So, yes, and that. But it's for goals added on. Now, for mine, that opens up a Pandora's box. You could effectively be under a goal up with 5 minutes to go and pretend someone's injured. Now, I'm not saying Centrals did that whatsoever. Don't dare get me wrong there. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that time should be automatically, in a last quarter, added on. And that's how I feel the rule should be, especially for the last quarter. I think every quarter with a serious injury and game it should be, but I understand why it's not the game going. But considering the 18-minute quarters, it's not adding on a huge amount of time. But I think purely the last quarter, that must be brought in so you
it's open to exploitation.
Exploitation at the moment. Remove that from it. So that's my own thoughts, and I, never backward in coming forward. So it's just more a comment where I don't think the overall pitch has been thought through enough. That's probably my way of summing it up, Ali.
Yeah, I agree as well. And, I just think about even the Glenelg North game, there wasn't many goals scored at all. So they're not having that, like the quarters are quite short. So there's no time added on because of goals or anything. So, yeah, absolutely agree. And like you said, if, you have a serious injury, and that's going to just wind the clock down a lot, whatever quarter it is. So it kind of just makes sense for it to be with injury time. But, that's the decision they've made, so we're just going to have to...
Yeah, I agree. But I think it's probably got to now be where the clubs go with a recommendation, hang on, because also if there's a strong breeze going to one end, someone gets injured and you lose 5 minutes... 3 to 5 minutes out of that quarter, that's potentially enough to win the game. So I just don't think it's been thought through well enough. That's probably my point.
You think as well, if an injury happens on the far wing at South Adelaide, it takes a long time to get someone off the ground and then someone back out there, and it is definitely something they're going to need to reassess.
Sounds like good intentions were there. It's just about refining it a little bit better. Do you get frustrated with the amount of rule changes that can happen from season to season?
I mean, as long as it's in the best interest of the game and the players, I think like it's better than just ignoring it and like they're not trying to improve the game. But that's the thing. It does really. The thing I would love is if it was discussed with all the clubs and everybody's on the same page, especially with this time on one, because there's plenty of people that didn't know what the rule was and that kind of thing. So, I guess that was the frustrating side of it.
So remove that from the game, because I think there was a way more important thing last Friday night than the result of a game of football. And, just go through the night in that regard, Ali, and especially paying respect to your pretty good friends. Go for it.
Yeah, so it was a really emotional night for the footy club, and something with Ash and her passing, it was just an incredibly tough time for us during pre-season in December. So we're a massive shock, but the way we were able to rally around one another and really get each other through that, and then just pay our respects to Ash. She's just an incredible person for not only women's footy, but footy and the development of players, and just the care that she had for every individual that she had to do with, whether it was in the Norwood Footy Club or state programs or in the schools that she was sports director at. She just had such a huge impact on so many people, and she's just was such a quality person, and we miss her dearly. And when it all first happened, it was like, how are we going to even get through this season? Because every question that we had as coaches, it was an Ash question, and that was just one of those. It took us some time to find our feet, and we're incredibly lucky with the people that we have around us to support us through that. And Kelly Rossi and Cam Best, who are now managing the program, they've just been amazing. And but yeah, like Ash, her nickname was the boss, and
yes,
she was just so good at what she did. And yeah, like I said, we just miss her, but it would have been so good to get the wins for her on the weekend. It was disappointing that we didn't, but to come up against the reigning premiers in Centrals, it was always going to be a really hard task, and we were proud of the girls in the way they played. So just keep going and learning and pushing on.
Does that help galvanise the group? I mean, obviously, you see it through a lot of sports that sometimes, a tragedy like that can galvanise the group and really sort of give them that impetus and that goal to strive towards, to obviously honour such a great person.
Yeah, and it was definitely something that drove us on Friday night, and I think that's why there was even so much emotion after the game, like more than normal, because we did want to do it for Ash, and so definitely, like, it was a tough time for the whole club, and to see everyone put an arm around each other, lean on each other, it just shows the incredible team and culture we've got at our club. So yeah.
Oh, look, way more important than a game of footy, and I think that showed. She was incredibly passionate about women's footy, and greatly missed. And it was just appropriate respect, and just to give you a hug after the game. That was that side of things.
Yeah, no thanks, guys.
And be careful going through airports too, Ali. Yes, yeah. I'll tell Pete about that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm looking in absolute. I'm puzzled at the moment, but we'll talk about that one off air.
That's up to Ali whether she wants to breathe. I don't think she'll probly want to breathe that up on air. So
no, you can feel Pete in later. It's a funny story about me.
It is actually. Yes. No, I did enjoy hearing that Friday night. Yes.
How did you find, obviously, the start of the season, and there seemed to be a decent crowd at Norwood on Friday night, and women's football in general is getting a lot more support, and how do you sort of approach that from a coaching point of view with your players, in that to be interactive with the crowd and show some of those those goal celebrations and really enjoy it for what it is?
Yeah, it's always a big buzz round one, and the crowds are really building, which is a massive positive for the SANFL in a whole. And at Norwood Oval, it's just such a great night to have Friday night footy round one. So the girls were really excited for it. Obviously, we had a big build up of pre-season, and we're just raring to go. And there were some great goal celebrations, and you had Shay Hiscock, who when she kicked that goal and did a little dance on the sideline, so get the crowd involved, which was really cool. And
it was good atmosphere Friday night, and you're right there, Ali. Norwood Oval really lends itself where everyone in the Greater Western Stand is almost leaning over. You're almost involved in the game at Nord, and that's where Nord's such a great ground to watch footy from. So, yeah. Look, Ali, we wish you all the best this week, and the season going on. I'm sure we'll touch base with Brad at some stage as well. Always loved your passion for women's footy. I thought it was pretty. It was the respect shown towards you when you retired last year after Nord, unfortunately losing the prelim final to Centrals, but both sides showing their immense respect to you shows where you are highly regarded in women's footy as well, Ali, and we greatly appreciate your time and look forward to catching up.
Thanks very much, guys. I love your work.
Thank you, Ali.
Are dents and scratches putting a dent in your day? Introducing Roger Steen Crash Repairs Adelaide, your trusted solution for automotive woes. With over 2 decades of expertise, Roger Steen Crash Repairs guarantees top-notch service, restoring your vehicle to its former glory in no time. From minor dings to major collisions, our skilled technicians handle it all with precision and care, using state-of-the-art equipment and techniques.
Roger Steen Crash Repairs saved my car. It looks brand new.
Fast, friendly and reliable. I wouldn't trust anyone else with my vehicle. Don't let accidents slow you down. Visit Roger Steen Crash Repairs Adelaide at 14 Penner Avenue, Glynde for quality service you can count on. And here's a special offer just for our listeners. Mention this podcast and receive a $100 discount on your repair. Roger Steen Crash Repairs Adelaide. Excellence in every repair.